Okay, let's see. I think we are live. Just a moment. Looking good there. Dope. Looking good there. And let me just make sure everything is up and running here. Cool. Okay, that is everything up we need. Looking good. We'll get to the Splatoon and weed here in a second. We always start off with some dog treats. We kind of expected it. With you. Right. Let's get into it. Start the same way we've been starting these past couple of streams with the Mighty. The missing Mighty for a while. We hadn't had it on stream for quite some time. It's back. And it looks like we got Dylan hanging out with us. Welcome back, Dylan. Dylan says, cheers, Wheats. He's got some Venom OG live butter dabs. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, Dylan, we will get this first capsule from our Mighty for you. Riri, welcome back, man. Good to see you again. Hope all is well with you. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful afternoon. I know I am. Got 3 dogs down, chowing down on some dog treats. Just about ready with our Mighty. And feeling really optimistic about our Splatoon play session today. Yesterday, if you missed our stream, there was a chance that we discovered some kind of scientific and medical breakthrough. People in chat were speculating none of this was me. I had no involvement in this, but there was some speculation as to whether or not I got so high that I ended up becoming a transcendent Splatoon player. Like I entered some other plane of existence and that somehow transferred to increased Splatoon playing skills. That was just a thing that happened yesterday. I think people called it the Snoop line, when you get so high that you become, sort of like John Wick, basically. I was basically John Wick, but instead of bullets and brainless, nameless, thugs, goons. It was children that are either octopi or squids. That may have happened yesterday. Might not have. Anyways, I'm just rambling. Here we go. Here is our first Mighty. And yes, Riri, we broke through yesterday. I won't say we didn't even break through. We annihilated the Snoop line. We saw that line, and it wasn't like we tiptoed across it. We just pulverized it. We saw the line, and instead of trying to leap across it, we looked to the horizon and said, that's our real line. That's where we're headed. I guess maybe we just played well for a couple of games. Anyways, it was a good time. Gonzo Baptist, welcome back, man. Good to see you. How are you doing, my friend? Well, while we are getting prepared before we play our first game, I got to buy my gears. You got to always buy your new clothes. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's go see what the shops have in store for us. Who knew that squid were so sartorially inclined? Multiplying Takaroka model. Interesting. So those are little titles that you can give yourself, and a title is always comprised of a first and a second part, and when you unlock a new one, you unlock 2 technically different parts that you can recombine with ones that you already have. I think I'm yesterday's fillet, which seems about appropriate. Let's see, do I have... I think I've got my food on right now. It's just time to go gear shopping, which let's do that as we finish up our first mighty capsule. Godzer says that he's walking the dogs, loving the fresh air after some rain. Yes, what a weird blast of I'm Gonzo. I'm so sorry, man. If I don't know why I thought you said you moved. I know you were from Long Beach. We talk about Long Beach all the time, but I'm so sorry, man. You still live here in Long Beach, right? Which is why you just had some rain. Pretty unexpected rain shower. If not, if you did move, my apologies, man. And where you at? Anyways, what am I supposed to be doing here? Not buying a hickory work cap, that's for sure. It's a classic bowler. Looks pretty fly, but too expensive for my blood. Ooh, we got some good shirts today. The squid satin jacket with some quick respawn, and the Apex sweater. This one looks very Cosby-esque, which is not why I'm purchasing it. But it has a very 90s sitcom dad style to it. And looks like I got most all the good kicks. So instead of buying new gear, what we're gonna have to do instead is re-roll some old gear. We're gonna have to take some gear that we already have, talk to this really freaky looking guy over here. Munch. Merch. And re-roll some of the gear we already have. Get better status. Let's see. Well, that's not bad. Ooh, maybe this needs a re-rolling. That's not bad. Quick super jump, boring. What do we have here? Face visor. Nah, meh. That's also good. This one, our party hard hat. Super cool. We can get some better abilities on it than that. Scrub it. Scrub a dub. Thanks, merch. Appreciate the ability chunks, bro. Anyways, okay, so now we've got some gear. Let me do my shoes while I'm here. I'm greedy. And then we'll get out to the real good fun stuff. Yeah, this looks like a perfect one to scrub. Now we spent almost all of our hard-earned monies. We'll equip that new stuff we just picked up. What? Where did I get those? Those are the dopest. Those are even more dope than my Viking hat. The retro framers, you better believe I'm putting those on. And then lastly, our shoes we just scrubbed away, our snow delta straps. I'm pretty confused in my stylings, I'm gonna be honest here. I'm wearing some weird looking Tiva sandals, Bill Cosby sweater, and some joke glasses. Love it. Godzer said that he mentioned a trip to Wisconsin, but he's back here, and now he's thinking about going back to the Wisconsin Did you go to the Wisconsin Dells by any chance, Gonzo Baptist, while you're there? This is a place that I didn't even know existed until somewhat recently. It is this place in Wisconsin, again called the Dells, that's like a water park capital of the world in a random sort of tourist trap Wisconsin town. Sounds fascinating to me. I love kind of weird tourist traps. I grew up next to a huge one, Pigeon Forge / Gatlinburg in East Tennessee, which is to my mind, the biggest of these, outside of Vegas, towns designed entirely to drive people in for entertainment and largely to other purposes. But who doesn't love a water park, and who doesn't love the idea of some random water park capital in the world being in Wisconsin? Okay. That is going to be our first thing of weed down. Which means it's going to be time to switch over to some Splatoon proper. Instead of just watching me buy gear, you can watch me get slaughtered. Alright, so let's do that. We hit that button, then that button. That sequence of buttons gets us right where we need to go. So, last night I got to see the movie I was probably most excited to see this year, maybe. That is, I talked about it a little bit yesterday, Triangle of Sadness, the new movie by the guy who did Force Majeure. If you've never seen, now I'm not one to tell people to watch trailers, as somebody who tries to avoid them at all costs. I would also admit to being freely a hypocrite, and I did see the trailer to Triangle of Sadness. And if you are not averse to watching trailers, like if that doesn't bother you, boy, it's one to check out. It is a triptych, a movie in 3 parts, about I guess you could say it's about a young influencer couple, an influencer in the fashion world, who get a invitation to a free luxury cruise, and with a bunch of super rich people, and that cruise goes very, very badly, ultimately leaving many of them stranded. That is the loose plot of the movie, but it is a straight up brutal satire of the wealthiest and most privileged in society, just like Force Majeure was. And the movie is excellent. It is super excellent. Not playing in a whole bunch of places right now, and it was kind of admittedly very weird getting to see it, watching it in a theater full of people that the movie was absolutely the target of its satire. And this isn't a friendly, gentle, I'm one of you, it's kind of fun to poke fun at ourselves satire. This is the most rage-inflected, the director finds no sympathy in his subjects here. And why you should watch the trailer is, it is a movie, again, about super very rich people and all of their many follies. But it is the grossest, most disgusting, gross-out movie you will ever see. When things start to go wrong, there is a really bravura sequence of many super rich people puking and pissing and shitting themselves to a incredibly perfectly choreographed sequence of a ship experiencing major difficulties on sea. Wonderful soundtrack, and again, it is revolting. I mean, just utterly disgusting watching many people just piss and shit and puke all over the place to a big operatic score. But it's also delightful and totally hysterical, and who doesn't love a good piss and shit joke? That is about as close as... Oh, not close at all. Totally won. Woo, good to see you. Welcome, Woo. You know what, Woo? I'm not sure if you've hung out with us before or not, but Woo, this first volcano bag will be for you. I'm realizing I left my volcano bag. Okay, where did I put my volcanoes? Oven, right here. Very cool. Ooh, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll do some weed for you, my friend. Hit keep going. Won our first game. Nice start. As I said, I saw this movie about the merciless satire and class warfare of and about the wealthiest and most privileged of us. I saw it in a theater in Beverly Hills, California, one of the very few places it's playing, and it is just, there's something uncanny, unnerving about people not realizing that they are the subject. I mean, I guess there could have been a lot of poor, lower middle class people like myself in there. That's not true. I shouldn't say that. I'm not sure I would say that I'm lower middle class in an actual sense. That would just be unfair to others. Not that I need to say, but certainly many zeros less on my net wealth than anybody else at that theater. It would be like watching the, oh my god, I think I forgot to join my lobby. I'm sorry, guys. I assume it would be like, you know, watching your parents laugh at your very conservative parents laugh at the Colbert Report back in like 2005, 2006, and not realizing that he's making fun of them, but thinking that he's in on the joke. Anyways, there was definitely some of that, but couldn't recommend the movie more highly as long as you've got a strong stomach and, you know, you don't make more than 6 figures, 7 figures a year. Anyways, let's play some Splatoon. That's what we were here for. We got kicked out. I forgot to rejoin. If you're wondering what the term Triangle of Sadness means, I hadn't even thought to think it might mean something external to the movie, not actually about the structure or plot of the movie, but it doesn't. It is a term in modeling. The Triangle of Sadness is the little area in between your like nose and brow, that little triangle of skin that can be manipulated by models, often to make them look sad or upset, and that is your Triangle of Sadness. At least in the vernacular of modeling. I would say do not see Triangle of Sadness if you cannot stomach the images of animal cruelty. There is one very, very notable image of that in the movie. And I would say it is in the very, very small number of instances of extremely funny animal cruelty. I would put this right behind the lobsters killing of a dog as the funniest. Uninspired. Well, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate the question, and thank you so much, by the way, for your super generous donation, man. And I will get to your question very specifically in just a moment, right after this game. And thank you again. Super appreciate it, man. Ooh, close, very close. Oh boy, it is still anybody's game. I think we are ever so slightly winning, but man, is it going to be close. I honestly have no idea. Uninspired. Thank you so much for your question. Let's go ahead and take a break from this game and talk about it here. And Uninspired asks a very interesting question. One that I'd love to address regardless of his super nice generosity. And Uninspired says, do you have any experience with Adderall? I've been having trouble staying focused for the hours of reading I have to do for university. Does it really help? I'm going to hit stop here. I'm going to even pull us away. Let's go to this camera and talk about stimulants. Do I have any experience with Adderall? Very, very little. Somebody gave it to me before, and have tried it, less than a number of times I could fit on one hand. Never was it actually for studying. I don't think I don't think I would say that. A couple times it was for driving, helping me drive, and one time it was for a work project, like a career thing, and so I have experience with it. And does it work? Yes, I would say even absolutely. There is a reason stimulants are so incredibly popular with people in high pressure settings, especially things like academics, ones where there's not only just a lot of pressure from, what you are expected to turn in and perform for your duties, but then there's a lot of competition and jockeying, which is arguably even worse kind of pressure. So does it work in like making you more motivated and making you focus better? I think I'm not the best person to answer any of this, for sure. And I'm just trying to be careful, because I do think it can help in a very pronounced way in probably, oh man, it's just such a tricky question. To the answer, uninspired, does it work? I think it can if your problem of focus is one that I think a stimulant can actually help. Like if the root cause is actually like mind wandering or just like the inability to sit down and do something because, you get distracted with 10 million other things, or just like, your mind just refuses you to let you focus on something that you have to get done. I think that there is a very good argument to be made that stimulants can help with that. They are also very dangerous. Like, it is I think we probably overprescribe them by a significant degree. I mean, when I took them, it is insane to me, and I took low dose amounts, how pronounced the effect is. And I also know, though, for people who have, ADHD or ADD, the actual diagnosis that may accompany the prescription, many people say there, instead of helping them, focus on one thing or keep their mind clear, it does kind of the opposite, makes them a little bit more tired and sedate, and actually able to kind of, not have all of the million other things in their minds bouncing around. So it kind of has the opposite effect. For me, it is definitely a stimulant. Like, it is insane how potent it is. I've never done cocaine or any other stimulants. The only stimulant I've ever done was Adderall, generic Adderall. Never done any other types of prescription stimulants either. And again, not that often. Not enough to formulate these opinions that I'm espousing so strongly. But uninspired, I was going to say, well, of course, talk to your doctor. Here's a problem, uninspired. Right now, I'm talking about how the overprescription nature of ADHD medication. If you Google it, like, you're going to get so much confirmation bias. If you start messing around on the internet and saying, do I have ADHD? You're going to get so much confirmation bias flooding your way, saying that you have this thing that you may not have. And not only that, the new spin on all of this is that although some of them are being taken down as we speak, there are many online pharmacies that will sell you prescription stimulants with very little. I mean, through the mail. They'll sell them, I think, send them to you through the mail, which I would have thought maybe you couldn't do that because controlled substance. I don't know. I know there is a lot of online sales of an online doctors prescribing things like Adderall or Ritalin or Vyvanse, a ton of it, like, especially since the pandemic. That's not good. These things are incredibly addictive. I mean, I think we underestimate how addictive they can be. And they can sort of, I don't know, man. They can, so I'm not even sure I would say go talk to your doctor. Or certainly if you're going to talk to your doctor, don't like Google online doctors for ADHD medication or diagnosis. That's probably not what you want. You probably want somebody more like a psychiatrist, somebody a little bit more objective to give you a diagnosis, because you don't want to take these things long term. I mean, I think the science on that is pretty clear. even if I did have ADHD or something, if I had a attention disorder, I don't know if I would want to be on something like that long term. They are habit forming. There are studies that sort of suggest that they can have long term effects on cognition and mood. And it's just they haven't been around long enough. Well, I was going to say they haven't been around long enough to know. That's not really true. We've been selling these medications not as Adderall and Ritalin. We knew about them for a long time before. We just called them speed and meth. It's because that's what they are. Hitler was basically an Adderall addict. It wasn't as, I guess, clean as that stuff, but yeah, I just be wary about them. Now, uninspired, I would say I don't want to give this advice because it is not great advice. But here's the thing. Uninspired, if you're in university, if you're in college right now and you're doing a bunch of studying, you can be rest assured, especially if you're in the United States, that a significant percentage of your peers are already prescribed that medication and using it routinely, or people are using it not recreationally, but basically as needed for its ability to do exactly what it does. And they do it because it helps and it does work. But you can get into some trouble if you go down that road. And I'm not trying to moralize or tell you which way, one way or the other. But I think practically you can say that many, many, many people have gone through 4 years of school in the recent past, having done some kind of stimulant on occasion when they can use the boost. Some huge percentage of students have done that. Now you can flip that on its head and say maybe even more have not, and certainly historically have not. But why should you put yourself at that handicap that so many others are not? And not saying it's a handicap not to have them, but you may find it helpful. And I think that's where I'm going to leave my answer. And I'm so sorry for the rambling sort of, maybe we got somewhere, maybe we didn't. If you have a way of procuring a one-time use thing to see if it is beneficial for you, and you don't have any like heart conditions or anything, who am I to say? But just be very careful. And then I'm gonna be done. All right, let's finish this bag. Thank you so much, Uninspired, for your question. And I'm really sorry if that got you nowhere, but I think it's the best I can give you right now. Uninspired did reply. Oh, welcome, Hybrid, by the way. Sorry, good to see you, Hybrid. Sorry I've been rambling here. Thanks for hanging out with us. Uninspired says, thanks for the detailed answer, man. He's obviously going to do a lot of his own research and talk to his doc before making any concrete decisions. Just wanted to get a first-hand account of it, if it had a noticeable effect. Well, thank you for that, man. And I'm super glad to see that you're going to speak with the doctor. Always a good thing to do in these situations. Hopefully, your doctor will be able to give you even better advice, but happy to share with whatever information I had. And again, thanks so much, man. Looks like we also got Woody B. Welcome back, Woody. Woody says that in regards to stimulants, that they are extremely addictive. And Woody says that his sister was just diagnosed at the age of 37 by an actual psychiatrist. You should really only take those medication under doctor's supervisions. Dick Von Prick. Welcome, Dick Von Prick. Kind of a redundant name there. Richard Von Prick. He says, on a tea break for the job. Boo. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Von Prick, but hopefully it doesn't last too long. And regardless, Mr. Von Prick, excuse me, um, it's a real insult to your Dutch heritage, to the whole Von Prick crew. But we really appreciate you being here and hanging out with us, even when you're on a tolerance break, man. Thanks for being here. But back to Woody's comment, who said his sister was just diagnosed at age 37. I think actually, women in their 20s and 30s might be the fastest growing group of people diagnosed with, I think they call it adult ADHD, and fastest rising number of prescription stimulants. There are a lot of women who are now being diagnosed with ADHD, and there are probably two reasons for that. One good, one bad. There was probably a lot of misdiagnosis growing up. There's the way it seems ADHD expresses itself is very different in boys and in girls, and the way it expresses itself in boys is more behaviorally, more like, inability to keep still. And those kind of behaviors are the things that get you sent to a psychiatrist to get you put on stimulants. So there were a lot of girls that were not correctly diagnosed with ADHD because they didn't display the outward, like, male tendency to fly off the wall, not listen to directions. It's more sort of inward. And then, of course, some of it is the thing I was just talking about, the proliferation of online doctors, telemedicine. There were whole startups that have created and now imploded that were dedicated only to prescribing online stimulants. That all happened basically from the pandemic. I think some of these companies maybe even hit like $1 billion valuation and are now probably going to, if they're not already dead, die as the DEA and FDA looks more into them. But I would say there are two reasons that there are these increasing diagnoses of women in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, I think even 40s, being diagnosed as ADHD. Mr. Von Prick says, not a problem. Us Von Prickers enjoy a good THC receptor reset. Well, that's because they say the Dutch are incredibly intelligent, and the Von Pricks understand that even a modestly length tolerance break can do a lot to reset those cannabinoid receptors in one's brain and make a substantial impact into one's tolerance. Woody says, I missed the start of the show. Are we going to die from thermonuclear war zone? I'm hoping not. Well, it's Woody, thank you so much. I actually hadn't even thought to address it yet. We've just been talking about so many other fun things that thermonuclear war hasn't even come up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to finish this bag. Then I'm going to do our next bag for uninspired hybrid Woody, yourself, and of course, Mr. Von Prick, and the whole Von Prick crew. That's really diluting the volume of that bag, I understand. The Von Pricks is a very, very extensive clan. So let's go ahead and get that next bag going for everybody, and then let's play some Splatoon and talk about the threat of thermonuclear war. Amazing game theory. I genuinely think we talked about this earlier in stream, and then I talked about it a lot last week, and then felt a little bit vindicated. I said in a stream last week that we are as close to nuclear apocalypse as the Cuba Missile Crisis, and that seemed a little extreme. Even I was like, that's quite the claim, Wheats. Then what does good old Joe Biden say the next day? That exact thing. Then the huge New York Times podcast, The Daily, has a thing earlier this week about, well, maybe we shouldn't be discounting thermonuclear war. And I'm like, vindicated. Yes, of course we shouldn't. How could anybody not be terrified of the prospect of thermonuclear war at this moment? Every single red line that Putin would never or could never have crossed, he has done. Every worst case scenario in terms of how Russia would have ever seen this war progressing, the never in their wildest plans did Russia think it would fail this spectacularly. Putin again has shown that there is no diplomatic line, no norm, no cultural taboo that is too great. And I just don't think people have really, and sorry for the grossness of this. Everybody hates it when people say this, but I don't think people really just gamed it out yet. Like, just stop and let's do just a tiny smidge of game theory here. Figure out what her options are and think about how few of them don't end with Putin trying something. And I honestly don't even know if it would be bad for Putin. It would be bad for humanity, the world at large, but I'm not sure it would be a tactical blunder on his part to do it, which is terrifying. And should all keep us all awake at night until the sirens blare. I may have told this story once before. Truly one of the scariest moments of my life, like just moments of raw panic and terror. Just like certainty of death. Back in the heady year of 2015, I just discovered this tiny little YouTube channel called Vsauce. This little dude named Michael Stevens, and fell kind of head over heel with it. It's sort of my first real YouTube love, thing that I ever loved. And at this time, my wife had already moved out here to Southern California, and I was still in East Tennessee, finishing up my school program and some stuff there before moving out here with her in a couple months' time. And one night I was watching some Vsauce videos late at night, and I fell asleep to them just auto playing in the background very, very late at night. And this was on like a smart TV on a YouTube app, and I don't know, an hour or so after I'd fallen asleep, I just hear from my TV the actual government emergency broadcast, the wah, wah. This is not a warning. This is not a drill. Warning. This is not a drill. Nuclear missiles have been something, and are on your way to this location. Warning, warning. This is not a drill. And I, in that moment, having been just awoken to that on my TV and blaring and not having any second to really think about anything else going on here, I was like, oh shit, I really am about to die, and I'm going to be 2,500 miles away from my wife when it happens, and that really sucks. And then as all this is in my head, it's like, wait, what? Michael Stevens' face pops up and he goes, and that's what you'd hear if there really was a nuclear holocaust. And the just like relief and like, you stupid idiot, flooded into me. Like, you really thought you were going to be toasted. That all happened. Anyways, let's now move on to some Splatoon, what we are all nominally here for. Sorry for the extremely long delay. Now that is a scenario that really did happen for people in Hawaii in 2017, I think. This is a nuts, just crazy, holy shit thing. In Hawaii, I think in 2017, the straight up, this is not a drill, this is really happening, nuclear Holocaust message went off that, you know, took over all of the broadcast airwaves in Hawaii as just a total mistake. And it took like 15 minutes or something for them to come out and correct the record. There were people who legitimately thought this was the end of it all. And it was super recent. Ooh, ouch. Oh, that's a crab tank. We're getting wrecked. Oh man, that one dude is just tearing up everybody at our base. Brutal start. Holy shit. Wow, okay. That territory map is looking real sad there. Well, missed everybody there. What else is new? Well, it looks like we've made a nice push here, actually. See if we can't turn this into something more substantial. Oh, and I'm out of ink. That was a dumb thing. Ooh. At least at momentary glance, it looked like we might be ahead. That's nice. Cool beans. Double cool beans. Triple cool beans. These beans could not be any cooler. I said we turn that one around. Handedly. Wow. Unexpected comeback. Thermonuclear war. So there are a lot of flavors that can come in, and there are a lot of things that can happen in the first few seconds after one of them sons of bitches goes off. I guess first we'd have to also define what we're talking about in terms of nukes. They come in many different sizes. The ones the experts are now worried about are the tiny tactical ones. The little small suitcase size guys. You don't need to drop them from a bomb. You can just leave them by a front door. Not designed to destroy cities, but to destroy buildings or bases or specific targets, but to utterly annihilate them. Those seem much more likely to be used, but I don't know why also we would totally discount the idea of a more substantial nuclear, some of the bigger parts of the arsenal being deployed. Like, it seems to me if you break the taboo, that there is not that much more penalty to pay for going big in your taboo breaking. And what are Putin's downsides in nuking up? And dropping a nuke on, or not dropping, planting a nuke at some important place in Odessa, or you know, maybe sending in some whatever, finding some military installation to destroy some key target, or blow up some, you know, fuel refinery, whatever. Many ways to use a nuke, a small nuke, in catastrophic ways. Just so if he does that, what penalty does he actually pay? And you know, the one you always hear is, well, he'll be a pariah on the international stage, and it's like, well, okay. Are we super sure that if he uses a tiny, small tactical nuke, that China or well, let's stick with just China for now, would be that extremely upset? There's speculation that they would be extremely aggrieved by that, but maybe they'd be kind of happy that somebody went ahead and did the dirty work of breaking that taboo for them, so that they can maybe think about doing that same thing themselves in Taiwan. Like, I don't know. There are plenty of ways that Putin can continue his current arrangement and still nuke some sons of bitches. Oh, that's a crab thing! Missed all 3 shots. Ooh, close. Keep it up, pink. You guys got this. 4 in the pink. None in the grink. Which is a portmanteau of green and ink. Nice. Two in a row. Guys, we might have, see yesterday's stream and earlier subject, we might have crossed that Snoop line again. We might have blown past the Snoop line so high that we have not inhibited our play, but uninhibited our play. We unleashed. There we go. Keep going. Well, it looks like the real reason we won that was Maru. Thanks, Maru. That's a nice score. I'm curious if anybody disagrees. Why you think there would be much more reticence to deploy some kind of nuclear weapon on his part, and maybe you can comfort me and tell me that this is going to be all okay. And I try to remind people this all the time, but I need to do it. I need to do it more, and I need to do a better job of it. Huge caveat with anything I ever say all the time. There is just a giant asterisk on every single word, syllable uttered from my mouth. Please do not forget, I am a stupid idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. Never do. As I like to say here, Dunning-Kruger personified. I don't know shit, which makes me think that I know everything. Never trust anything I say. If for some reason something I said comes in your mind and you think to yourself, oh wait, maybe I know this, please look it up ahead of time. I'm very often wrong. I'm an ignorant man-slut with a huge ego. Out of ink. Run! Oh, I didn't die. I didn't die. I didn't die. I cannot believe I didn't die. It's because I'm past the Snoop line. I see everything in slow motion. Every move, I perceive it all at just like with a sensitivity and a degree of finesse that I never had before. Oh shit, never mind, we're losing. I see comment about ignorant man slut. I don't ever know what I'm talking about. Here I was, thinking we were kicking some ass, and we are getting our asses kicked. Oh, that's dangerous. Ignorant sluts! Referring to me. Buttholes. We tried. We tried. Not very hard, though. Man, these guys have the coolest emotes there. Look at those dances, and then they finish with a dab. That's the dab, right? Damn, I wish it was that fly. Well, it wasn't the worst. We will play till we get our next loss, then we'll do another volcano break. Probably should have left that lobby. It seems like them some good players. Here we go. Oh, lucky shot by me. Unfortunate for you, chickless. Ooh, aggressive move that did not work out so well for Orange there. Happy to be the recipient of their misfortune, however. Oh boy, they are at the point where it's hard to find some orange turf to paint. Keep it up, purple. I'll be there as fast as I can. Although there's a lot to do at home, maybe I should have just stuck there. Oh shit! Well, I'm going back home anyways. That's what I meant all along. I definitely wanted to swim headfirst into a bomb like that. Smooth thinking. Smooth brain thinking. Wow, that dude is good with those splat bombs, I'm telling you. Thank you, teammate. Saved my ass for sure. But not for a long time. Not that that was your fault. Oh shit, they are now ahead. Come on, purple. We can rally here. Rally, rally. We got this, guys. Oh, we got one in our base. I think we got that. Beautiful. I think we said we we're going to play till we lose to take our next volcano break, which is not this one. Gus on our team is the world's best uncle. Good for you, Gus. Gus does seem like a great uncle name. Uncle Gus. Almost as good as Buck. And good old world's best Uncle Gus carrying the team with 14-2. That is insanity. Uncle Gus, 14 splats, 2 deaths. The dude had more splats personally than their entire team had collectively. Congratulations to you, Gus. You're an inspiration to us all. Hopefully your nephews recognize your brilliance. He's jumping around. Alright, well, let's keep up this winning streak. I think a lot of it's gonna depend whether Gus is still in our team or not. Uh-oh. Matchmaking over a minute. Rarely see this happen. I think I've only seen it go over a minute once before. And now we're in uncharted territory at 75 seconds. Who knows how long this could last? We're now already approaching, and as I say this, going to hit and exceed half of an entire length of a Splatoon match in wait time. Such uncharted territories. Not even Nate Drake could, you know, expect to survive this. Coming up on 2 minutes of wait. 2 minutes of wait for a 3-minute match. And they made it right under the wire. Let's hope that's not a sign of things to come. What are some of the worst things out there in terms of wait to time return in like joy benefits? It's got to be something like a ride at Disney World, right? Something where you like wait 4 hours for a ride. I guess some people may say that about their first sexual encounter. You know, for me, it was like, I waited 30 2 years for something that lasts, 16 seconds. I did better than I thought. Oh, the hammer! The hammer of justice. Well, Femboy couldn't handle the pressure of all that hammering and went off to the great, great sea beyond. Beneath, I guess, in actuality. It's just right. Oh, shit! Oh, damn! Nicely done by the Masters. Totally outplayed me, dropped his bubble shield, snuck through, kicked my ass. Nicely done. Let's get some free paint over here. Oh, they haven't noticed. Whew. Needed that one. Oh, shit! I got one of them. Many times I don't even get that far, but I did get one. They are definitely winning, but I would not say it is hopeless for sure. Totally come back. I think one of them got the hammer guy. That's gonna be bad! Got him. Okay, nice. This seems like a good run here. Oh shit, I'm out of ink. I have no idea. I was too busy. Never had time to look at the map. Oh crap. That is close, but I think we got it. I think we definitely have it. Way closer than I would have guessed. Holy shit. Nicely done. Ended up pulling through, but ever so close. I think our closest spread yet today. And that puts us at how many wins now? I guess we can take a look. And I don't think we've had a truly dreadful game yet. Just the 2 victories in a row. Let's make our first 3 in a row of the day. Because I guess we started on a loss. Yikes. I was getting my ass handed to me on the weekend. Just went off. Oh! Oh, yeah, that's an old game. I was like, did I do that poorly our last game? I thought we won. It's an old one. You can see how bad I did. Anyways, let's make it 3 in a row, and let's take that volcano break. Give us some more easy prey. Matchmaking gods. Nasty Nathan says, what happened to this channel? Great question, Nasty Nathan. It's unclear, but the only thing we can say definitively, Nasty Nathan, is that it's been a disappointment to us all, I think, right? It's like the... it's like when the rich kid's... rich parents' kid goes off the deep end and, just... gets into a life of drugs and debauchery, and everybody just says, like, I don't know what happened here, but I just know to be disappointed. I expected more. And I think that's how we should feel about this channel. I like to think of myself as proof positive. Maybe one of my few like real strengths and talents in life, Nasty Nathan, is, and I don't mean to brag, and please disagree if you like, but I really do think of it as a skill. Is proving that. Excuse me, I'm finding it very difficult to multitask. Oh, we got Gus. I'd like to think I proved that you can have zero expectations in something and still find it disappointing. Hit. Nasty Nathan says, I've always had your back, man. I actually struggle with addiction, so I can relate. Thank you so much for sharing that, Nasty Nathan. I hope your struggles are going well right now, or not too tough on you. Yeah, addictions are awful, man. My disappointment does not come from, I don't think, any kind of chemical addiction. As awful as those are, in some ways, I don't have that excuse. It's just we won a third. But Nasty Nathan, I'm super appreciate you being here. We do have some weed to do. You know what? I said I'm gonna wait till we do our first loss here to take this weed break. But Nasty Nathan, now that you're here, thanks for sharing your story. Not that you told us everything, but you let us know about your struggle, which I appreciate. So I hope this isn't perceived as something where I'm trying to make light of it, but here we always dedicate our bag of weed or whatever to somebody, and Nasty Nathan, if it's okay, we'd like to dedicate this bag to you. Shit, I got last place. Sorry, team. And, King Yeti, welcome, King Yeti. Mr. Nathan, if you don't mind, and please do not feel the need to share if you don't want, but I'm so curious what your addiction was of. What substance, or not substance, you're addicted to. Sorry, teammates. I am actually super incredibly, and I do mean fortunate and in every sense of the word, that I have not, as far as I know, had any personal experiences with major addictive substances in close relations of time. I've not had the awful harrowing experience of having a loved one or a family member be addicted to an opiate or benzos or any number of other substances. Gambling, not, as we said, not just substances, meth, any of the destructive addictions. I'm just fortunate enough that I have not had to go through that, but I understand and empathize with everybody who has. It is, and I mean almost everybody. We are a nation and a world, but very much a nation, specifically, undergoing just profound mental health crises of all kinds of sizes and shapes, many of them manifesting in addictions, many in other ways, increased rates of bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. But I am just fortunate, never had anybody that has had a addiction, major addiction that I know of, or and certainly hope that is actually the case. There are so many Americans addicted to so many awful substances. Well, I think we won another. Looks like we got our 4th in a row. Welcome back. 4 in a row, I think. Anyways, let's do this bag that I kept promising for our friend Nathan. Here we go. Just been letting it languish. And I think I said, welcome, King Yeti. Glad you could be here, man. Nasty Nathan, though, is joining us with some weed. He's got the Candyland, the Deadhead OG, ice cream, and white truffle. I think that was a dish that I saw in Triangle of Sadness last night. I talked a lot about the movie already, but there were a lot of truffles in that movie. Many things with truffles. And then the word emulsion a lot. And then disgusting slurping sounds. Oysters look disgusting under normal circumstances, but under a rollicking boat with people puking all around you. And a microphone implanted next to somebody slurping an oyster. Gross noise. Forgot how we got on in there. Oh, talking about seeing the movie Triangle of Sadness. Anyways, King Yeti says he was on and off meth for 20 years. Well, thank you so much, King Yeti, for letting us know your experiences there. We've talked about it a lot here on stream before, but we'll briefly go through it again. And sorry, not trying to make any point here, or please let me know if this is offensive in any way, King Yeti. Not trying to be at all. Exactly straight up the opposite. Meth was the boogeyman of my youth. It was the boogeyman of the late 90s and the early aughts. Meth was everywhere. It was the drug we were all afraid of. It was the era of meth labs, exploding. It led us into the era of Breaking Bad, basically. As, meth was the noxious substance. But then the opiate crisis went through. All those Sacklers gave out all those wonderful, wonderful pills. All those wonderful Pontins and morphines, and instead, our drug boogeyman became no longer the stimulant meth, but it became heroin and opiates and later fentanyl and everything terrible under the sun. Meth never went away, but the usage of it did lessen for a long time, but many people still elected to use stimulants over depressives like heroin. So meth usage always continued, never went away. But as the opiate market started to crack down, many people will just go from one substance to another without it's shockingly easy to transfer an addiction of heroin into addiction of meth for people, even though they are very different substances. And so many people moved back to meth after there were a lot of crackdowns on getting easy at opiates. And meth, at least in 2019, I think the pandemic might have changed some calculuses again, but I'm not 100% sure. meth actually, for a while, retook heroin as the #1 killer in the United States for drug overdoses. And those are astronomically, it overtook heroin when heroin was at an astronomically high number. I mean, unheard of how many people we were killing with heroin each month. And now we're killing at least as many with meth, at least for some time. It's real bad. It's, as you probably know, King Eddie, it's a pretty terrible substance that ruined many lives. Actually, my sophomore year roommate in college, amazing guy, 100 billion times smarter than me, he was, I think, in his early 20s, and he was a meth addict for years, and lived with his boyfriend, and sold and did meth, and eventually got over it and hit a home run in his life. But it is so great to know people can get off of it, man. But it is an awful substance, and the externalities of something like meth can often be worse than heroin. People will steal on heroin, or if they're addicted to heroin, people will, commit theft or all kinds of petty crimes to get their next fix. But when they're high, they're not really doing much harm to anybody other than themselves. Whereas meth, I mean, the negative externalities can be infinite. Meth-induced psychosis is very, very, very real and very, very terrifying if you've ever been around it. Yeah, it's a terrible substance, man. And I empathize with anybody out there. Anime Catboy, welcome. So good to see you. Sorry, I missed everybody's chat. I'm gonna definitely take a break after this one. We finally had our loss, and we'll get caught up on chat. We'll stop talking heavy drug usage and the scourge of methamphetamine. Well, that guy just jumped right in that pool. I just got a double. Twice as nice. I need to get the hell out of there. Not gonna make it, though. Sorry, guys. I promise I will get caught up on chat. My total bad. Let it lapse. Just ranting about addiction problems in America. Oh, shit. Now I'm the kid who jumped in the water. That dude's name is Fruit, spelled just like our beloved reviewed edible, Wheat's Gold Star edible, the $9 Fruit 100 milligram gummy. F-R-O-O-T. He's even got an umlaut on it. Oh, very German. Lucky shot. I thought for sure I had fucked that one up. Oh, we just got poor Fruit. Got our revenge. Love your product, though, man. buttholes. I think we're gonna win this one though. King Yeti says he's never known anyone to die from meth. What a... Wow. King Yeti. That is an amazing point. And one that I had never even considered. Whoa, we won by 0.3. Insane. But real quick, King Yeti, I do think that's actually an incredible point. In measuring the harm that these drugs bring to society, the actual lethality of them, and there's no question that, I mean, I guess with meth, the overdose deaths are usually, I was just talking about how the overdose went higher, but I don't know how those are actually calculated. I don't even know if there's any, what kind of methods they have to counteract things like meth overdoses. I assume mostly it's cardiac in nature, but I don't know that. And King Yeti says he doesn't believe that. Interesting, King Yeti, coming from somebody who has experience. That's so fascinating that you've not seen it happen. Which makes me again wonder about what they are categorizing as a death from something like meth. If it's not with heroin, it's pretty apparent. With opiates, like oh my god, I promised I was going to get off this subject. I'm so sorry. This is so depressive. I'm going to hit this, move over to our right camera here, power through chat, and thank everybody again so much for sharing their experiences on the substances, which is so incredibly nice to share that with everybody. Appreciated it tremendously. Nasty Nathan says that he has chronic migraines, and when you have medical conditions like those, it's almost impossible to live life without meds. Boy, yes, chronic pain, another huge subject in the United States, and the thing that led to the opiate crisis is our lack of understanding on how to deal with chronic pain. And our quickest, easiest solution for a long time was lots and lots of opiates. And you would be surprised. I don't need to go into this anymore. King Yeti, though, in a bit of super encouraging news that I think we can all super applaud here, has been clean for 5 years as of last week. Major congratulations, man. 5 years clean. At that point, I don't even want to say anything other than that is super awesome. And I hope you're tremendously proud of yourself. And I hope your sobriety continues apace. Wish you nothing but the best, my friend. Welcome, Anime Catboy, who seems to be upset with the pace of our stream. And let's see. Looks like King Yeti and Nasty Nathan talking about competing amounts of ingestions between bath salts and meth to see who had more psychosis. King Yeti said he saw a guy eat 5 grams of red phosphorus meth, which is some of the strongest, and he fell asleep for 24 hours, woke up tweaking for 2 weeks. Oh my god. Wow. That sounds absolutely horrifying. Maybe not to him, but wow. I didn't even know that there was such a meth as red phosphorus. My varieties of meth begin with what's in Breaking Bad. So, I did promise a new bag. Nasty Nathan says he did a similar amount of bath salts and he couldn't read for 2 weeks, which I didn't even know was a side effect. of bath salts. Nasty Nathan, have you ever experienced any psychosis on bath salts or any of the other drugs you've done? If so, would you mind sharing that experience? It seems like a highly idiosyncratic thing, what psychosis is like. I always find it super fascinating. If you don't want to share, please don't. But I would love to hear anybody out there, if you've had some experiences, what it was like, what it, as best as you can describe it to somebody who obviously can never truly understand. But I think psychosis is just a fascinating thing and a sign of just how much our brains are willing to bend. They are willing to do some pretty intense things to conform reality to its expectations. Northwest GPL, welcome Northwest, says, we don't use meth in the UK because it's seen as a bit of a girly drug. Really, Northwest? In that, like, people don't use meth because it's like a party drug there. It's not actually seen as a hard substance that is, wow. I wonder if that has something to do with the makeup or the concentration of, the actual purity of the meth. Being that it is very similar to common stimulants, I can imagine if the formulation in the UK is slightly different than it is here in the US, that it maybe just isn't. But I don't know. I'm totally ignorant, and here I go trying to spout off something I don't know. But I had no idea about that distinction, Northwest. Thanks for sharing. Anime Countboy says, sorry about that. It just kicked you out of Twitch. Well, welcome back. Glad you're here. King Yeti says, only 2% of meth heads stay sober after recovery. That doesn't even include the dozens of times people try to quit before they actually stop for good. Wow. Is that 2% over a life in it? Or is that like, how long of a time horizon is that 2%? Meaning, and does that mean no relapses ever? For many people, strong addictions, they will relapse a couple of times in a journey to recovery, but not ever fully fall off the wagon or on the wagon, whatever that metaphor is, but not sure. And Nasty Nathan, I'm so glad your wife was on the right side of that bell curve and managed to get herself through it. It's I didn't realize it was even that. I had no idea it was, obviously I knew it was an incredibly addictive substance, but that is a scary rate of remission. Not remission, the opposite of relapse. Nasty Nathan says that he totally K-holed today and had some mania. So you did experience maybe not psychosis, but maybe some disassociation, which are related, but still, I think, different. But having never experienced psychosis, I can't say for sure. Northwest gives us a lesson on the drug culture in working class England, which he just says is strange, which sounds that way. And it sounds very different than it is here in the US. Speaking of meth, he says that it has a feminine reputation, and but amphetamines are seen largely as masculine there, except for meth. Yeah, the drugs that you get in the UK are so different than what we get here in the States. It makes sense that we have a very different culture. And of course, you have much more rigid class distinctions built in through cultural reinforcement over centuries that we have here, which also leads to some interesting things. Anyways, Anime Catboy says, do I want to hear a theory? Yes, Anime Catboy, I would love to hear a theory. Share it with us. And hopefully, Anime Catboy. Oh, here we go. It's a long one. Let's go get this bag refilled while we read his message. Anime Catboy shares. Squids, octopi, and salmon are animals that live within water. While the salmonids can swim within water and move on land, the inklings, octarians, and octlings, which derive from squids and octopi, will dissolve if they touch water because their fragile bodies consist of ink, which also allows them to swim within ink, but not within water. Anime Catboy, I will admit freely that it took me a whole second to realize that you were actually talking about the people in Splatoon. And because I didn't recognize, I forgot that salmon are in Splatoon as well. I mean, I understood that's how we bridged into this topic, but then I quickly understood when you said that squids and octopi dissolve when touching water. Obviously not true. Now, Anime Catboy, that sounds like an incredible theory. And Anime Catboy, I hope that you do a brilliant YouTube essay on this topic. Get all your evidence. Spend more time working on the thumbnail than you work on the actual video. Yell a lot in it, but take that theory you've got right there, and turn it into a YouTube essay with a really provocative title like, the reason the squid kids dissolve in water exposed. I'm no YouTube god, obviously, but Anime Catboy, I have no doubt you can do better. Anyways, let's go back to said Splatoon and play a couple more games here. And again, I want to thank you, everybody, for sharing all that stuff. That was super appreciated from me, and I think helpful for anybody out there who may be going through similar experiences, hearing from people who have are either working through it right now or have worked through it in the past. Super appreciate it. And of course, to King Yeti, continued good luck on your sobriety going forward and staying on that correct side of the 98% line. And I need to switch over to Splatoon. Nasty Nathan, later, man. It's been so fun hanging out. And again, I appreciate you bringing your perspective here, man. Have a good one. We'll see you in the future. Okay. It's been a while. Anyway, Catboy worried that if they make that video essay, Nintendo will come down on them with the copyright hammer of God, which is not an unfair thing to be worried about. Nintendo is the most conservative about what they allow to be posted online. For years, they didn't allow people to monetize any video that had Nintendo games in it. And I think recently somebody figured out a way to broadcast porn on Splatoon using some not so difficult method, and Nintendo copyright struck that video and the players too. Oh, we got 10 missiles. I just found 2 of them. Northwest asked, what's it like in the USA at the moment? Is it like here, a tinderbox ready to go off? Thank you so much for asking, Northwest. And maybe even more so, I hope to be able to ask you, because we do have a lot of fans from the UK, and not just England, but some folks from Northern Ireland and Scotland as well. And to answer your question kind of briefly, shit is definitely crazy here in the United States Northwest. Unprecedented levels of, every sort of economic indicator and culturally, politically, every sign seems to point to just more reasons to lack optimism for the sake of the future. But we are a fair sight better than you guys are doing. I can't. It's really scary what's going on in England, man. The economic crises that are unfolding on a daily basis. The oh man, not that I have to explain or elucidate any of this to you. You are living it, but I just. It really does seem, at least from our perspective here, that you guys are in a really kind of nerve-wracking place at the moment, and man, I sympathize a lot. It's going to be a rough winter, I think, for everybody in Europe. But the UK is going to have some even different challenges that your once fellow EU members aren't going to have. And seeing how worrisome things have gone already, I'm just, man, England is a very old and rich country, and it has strong institutions, and if any country can weather the shitstorm that's about to come their way, it seems like England should be one of them. But you've got a conflagration of shit coming your way. I mean, a government that was as dumb as ours. It's like England went from having their own Donald Trump, and instead of saying, okay, we're going to pull back from this a little bit. I mean, obviously that's not the way your system of government works. You have no input here, but due to the quirks of your governmental system, which more often than not works better than ours, but in this instance leads to things like Liz Truss and a massive tax break for the wealthy, materialized out of the blue under already precarious economic circumstances, and a man in charge of your Ministry of Finance who doesn't seem to quite understand the way your economy works. Scary stuff. But then again, the pound is back, what it was worth earlier this year, and markets have stabilized. The central bank, the genius English central bank, has stabilized things, so who knows? The worst predictions of Brexit haven't yet panned out. Maybe you guys will be fine. Maybe the world is just going through some awkward growing pains and we'll all be a-okay. We'll learn some valuable lessons, but in the end, everybody will be fine. Maybe that's what's going to happen here. I mean it very much when I say I hope so. when the if the history books are written about this period, and please, Nate Northwest, please do not interpret this. I'm not trying to rag on England at all. This comes from a place of empathy and sympathy, and how could I ever look askance? I mean, I am from the country that elected Donald Trump. Obviously, I am in no way trying to be critical or suggest, this is your fault, or even have a moment of schadenfreude here. Just sympathizing, but I forgot what point I was going to make. Oh, no, I do. I remember what point I'm going to make. When the history books are written about this period, and people try to figure out, give a moment, like a date or a time to like when everything started to fall apart, a lot of people are going to be tempted to do the American 2016 presidential election. Either the date of the election or the day Donald Trump announces his candidacy as the day the world started to fall apart. And of course, I think there is a fine argument to be made that is correct. But I think that you could just as likely make the argument that the world really started to come unglued the day of the Brexit vote and the surprise result. At least symbolically, as the start of the end of global solidarity and the rise again of, if not nationalism, some kind of economic nationalistic impulse. I really appreciated that question so much, Northwest. And again, sorry for ranting. King Yeti says, what economic crisis? Biden said everything is fine. That's obviously not true. And this is coming from somebody who is not an economic or an inflation. Inflation doesn't really terrify me to the extent everybody else does. I kind of think the world was due for a inflationary period for a while. And I still think that inflation is not a permanent fixture and has already hit about as, in macro sense, as bad as it's going to get. But I think the economy is in no way in good shape, and the idea that the Fed is... the rising interest rates really only hurt the people who were not on the yacht in the movie The Triangle of Sadness last night. It hurts them actually more probably in absolute terms, but is totally worse in relative terms for people of the middle class and lower economic ranks. Yeti, King Yeti, Biden was certainly not my first 100 choices for President of the United States. Not sure that I would say that I don't think we could come into a total agreement on his relative rank vis-a-vis his immediate predecessor, but I genuinely, truly, sincerely hope that he has more self-awareness than he seems to be capable of recently and not run again. It seems unlikely. I mean, it's just political machines. Giant presidential campaigns aren't designed to be a 4-year apparatus. Like, it seems like it almost wouldn't work if he decided not to run again. Like, everything is designed for an 8-year. You run once and then you do it again in your for your second term. And it's just like force of habit and like, well, this is the way we've always done it, and we haven't made enough effort to, you know, fix this problem before that I can just see Biden end up running again because we don't have a better option, and I think that would be a disaster. And I think maybe we can agree on that. Well, oh crap! Well, we were winning. Oh god! But a wipeout like that, I think it still looked like our victory there. Northwest, sorry I missed your comment there. I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to take a pause and get our final dab of the stream going. Northwest says, society is falling apart rapidly. Social decline is far worse than anything I've ever seen. If people's pensions are lost, which could happen in the next few days, I expect that's the end of us. And as your society has built so much more on pensions and than ours, we have almost nobody in the U.S. has pensions anymore. So we're not worried about your pensions collapsing. But for a country that has built its, entire, sort of retirement idea around pensions, and with Britain being, like every Western country, a rapidly aging one, and many people getting ready to start withdrawing from their pensions, the devastation would be apocalyptic, for sure. It's just, yeah, it's worrisome. And even with all this, so Europe is so especially extra fucked. Here in the United States, we have pretty bad inflation at the moment, undeniably. Like, it's higher than it's been in my lifetime ever. But, still not super worried about it. But our inflation is not nearly as bad as Europe's. And not nearly as bad as the UK specifically, who seems to have the worst rate of inflation among European nations. And even worse is, in the US at least, we still have a very booming labor market. It's still very easy to find a job. And wages are still rising. Actually, that's still a thing here that, it's one of the things that are being pointed out as inflationary pressures is rising wages. In lots of European sectors, there's actually been wage attrition. So you guys are experiencing higher inflation than ours and also taking it on the chin as well by having your wages not rise, at least, offsetting some of that inflation by your wages going up. Which is what's happening here. It is not the same. The rate of inflation is nowhere near the rate of wage growth, but at least it is growing, and our inflation isn't as bad. It's rough, man. Even if I didn't empathize with you and genuinely just want the best for what is everybody in Britain, it's not like there wouldn't be contamination if Europe, if the UK collapses economically, a lot of international banking is done in England, in London specifically. The level of contamination there, I don't know. I have no idea. Obviously, I'm not an economist. Don't know what their balance books are, but it's obvious it would be quite catastrophic for everybody. So, even selfishly, obviously, wishing you guys the best, but scary times. Anyways, we said we were going to do a final dab to go through our stream here, and then we're going to do our classic Play Till We Lose. Getty says that he is a, what does he know? He's just a crazy and Austrian economics anarchist. The quintessential libertarian, which there are very different flavors of libertarian out there. There's the more admirable anarcho-libertarians, like Yeti here. And of course, there are the much more, what would you describe them as? Market-driven, but free market and name only style libertarians. You're more who's a good example of a faux libertarian, kind of a more of a Ron Paul style. As somebody who, you know, flirts with anarchist ideas on occasion, Yeti, I hear you. I'm not there with you on the Austrian School of Economics, not a Hayek guy, but as a wannabe student of David Graeber, God rest his soul, there has to be some part of me that is enticed by anarchic ideas. And with that, mention of our dearly departed Professor David Graeber, let's go do a dab. Looks like the last dab we will be doing. Oh, nice. Make sure the air chamber is clear here. Go. Well, looks like it is turned off again. Auto turned itself off. So instead of a final dab, my apologies, we're gonna do a final dab. Whoops-a-daisy. Sorry about that. I owe everybody a dab on the next stream. While that is inflating, we'll go ahead and hop into our final round of games where we're gonna play till we lose, which we've had a pretty good run today. I think we've only had 2 defeats so far. That's not bad. It's not bad. Crossing that shack line. Shack, Snoop. Yikes. Got Shack on the brain here in Long Beach, California. Here in Long Beach, California, it is now officially Shacktoberfest. For some reason, Shaquille O'Neal has rented out the most notorious symbol of Long Beach, the giant ocean liner, the Queen Mary, and has decided to run a haunted house in there, all themed around himself. And it's called Shacktoberfest, and it's in Long Beach, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But that's why I probably referred to Snoop. The Snoop line is the Shack line. Still not great. King Yeti says anarchists want no government, minarchists want no federal government, and cap means you're capitalist anarchists, and com means you're communist anarchists, which is a historical oxymoron. Well, thank you for the vernacular distinctions. I didn't realize there were quite so many flavors, but of course there are, especially among things like anarchists. King Yeti saying, I could deal with the balkanizing and having 50 separate countries. The federal government is nothing but a pirate ship that needs to sink. Spicy take from King Yeti. One with many people who agree with him. Even if it is not a philosophy that I espouse myself, I understand the impulse for sure. Because even though it was a total self-fulfilling prophecy, you know, the Ronald Reagan model is... what's his line about how scary government is? His fun boogeyman line. The 9 scariest words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Like, well, you know... When you, no, let's just take a break from that right there before we get you know, start talking about old Ronnie Reagan or something really fiery. But totally respect the idea of, ooh, wow, my God, I did not think we lost that badly. That's one of those examples of, wow, I would have said that was dead even. And I would have been incredibly, incredibly wrong. Well, it looks like our first game in the series was a loss. Doesn't happen often, but it happened this time. And on that note, oh, I do have this bag to do. King Yeti, saying I think, uncontroversial statement that DC is only a breeding ground for corruption. I think that's a philosophy pretty much anybody can get behind. King Yeti, I don't disagree that it is the federal government is entirely dysfunctional and could use King Yeti. Please, please, please do not mistake my sort of playing devil's advocate here for being somebody who is not of strong opinions myself. I've espoused my idea before. This is a holy wheats idea. So, you know, I'm totally comfortable with some fiery political philosophies, even if ours differ, but don't want to give the idea that I just sort of toe the standard liberal line. I mean, although I think I sort of fall more on that spectrum considerably politically, but if I were in charge of restructuring the federal government, I would create the expulsionist political party. I would eject. I wouldn't wait for states to secede from the Union. I would go ahead and kick them out. Our expulsionist party would remove some of the bigger tax burdens on the states. asset book, and especially those that have very little in the way of natural resources. So like Louisiana might sneak its way in somehow. But we would figure out a way to, and of course, this is unbelievably difficult. The logistical, all of this is tongue in cheek. I'm not actually serious, but seriously though, eject probably 10 states from the Union. It's a nice round number. There's some obvious candidates. And then offer anybody who were citizens of those states free lodging in any, or some kind of very generous package to relocate somewhere in the United States in a, say, Rust Belt city, one of America's cities in its flyover states that could benefit from a population boost. Rehab those cities, and then that would go for anybody who is under a certain income level. And then if you are you have more than $10 million in wealth, and you want to become a citizen of the United States again, anything over that certain asset limit would be expropriated as a tax, a one-time tax for entering the United States again. And that tax, of course, will be used to fund the relocation of those who don't have the funds to move themselves. That would be my drastic action. I would just go ahead and remove some states from the Union that aren't really contributing. Sorry, Mississippi, your river's great, but you're an embarrassment. You're gone. You're done, you're out. We don't need you. Kentucky, what the fucky? We don't need your coal anyways. You're out. You're done. Get out of here. West Virginia, do I even need to say anything? Did I even need to mention you, West Virginia? You're done. You're out. Get out of here. Nobody needs you. We would love your citizens. Give us your tired, you're hungry, your huddled masses. We'll take those huddled masses, and you can leave your coal barons. You're done. West Virginia, you're out. That's what I think I might do. That would be my idea. For the foreseeable future, coal is going to be continued to be used for sure as a fossil fuel. Yeti. Unfortunately, we just don't have the capacity yet, so we can't wean ourselves from coal just yet. But hopefully one day. There are a lot of things we can bridge, Yeti, but coal is just an unabashed bat. It's just, well, it got us through the Industrial Revolution, made us a wealthy country, the wealthiest country, on the back of some of that coal and oil, but going forward, it's just a bad thing. And the faster we can leave it where it lay, the better. Is it the worst of them? I don't know. Too ignorant to say. Well, it is not as bad as oil because more oil is consumed than coal. But there's more CO2 put in the atmosphere through oil burn than coal. But I don't know, on like a energy level basis, which is worse. But who knows? King Yeti talking about the rich resources of Arkansas, which, yes, holy shit, is it a state replete with all kinds of mineral wealth. And not just mineral wealth, King Yeti. The wealthiest of wealth, the wealthiest wealth in the country in a lot of ways, is in your state. There's actually so much really cool shit in Arkansas, a place you wouldn't necessarily normally expect to find it, thanks to one family. One family. Not a cluster of rich people, not a conglomerate of, or an overly productive city. It's really all because of one family. And King Yeti, let's say it together. Thank you, Waltons. The Walmarts. John Walmart, Martha Walmart, Franklin Walmart, and of course, the original Walmart himself, Samuel H. Walmartington, Walmarteski. He Americanized it when he went over on Ellis Island. All came from Arkansas. The whole Walmart clans. We thank you, Samuel Walmartington, or Walmartiski, for what you have done for us in our country. And the everyday low prices. Amazon owns the state of Washington, and Walmart owns the state of Arkansas. And the Rothschilds own it all. Not really. No. No sarcasm. Love the Waltons. Waltons, is that right? Is it the Waltons? They are as wholesome and pure as anybody as wealthy as they are. King Yeti says you can thank NAFTA for Walmart getting so big. Well, that's probably very likely true. Getting all them cheap consumer goods, making those trade agreements in the 90s. Who knew what all was to come? But I think you could consider Walmart maybe a consequence of some trade agreements. I am not educated enough to tell you the exact specifics, but I believe you if you told me. And with that, guys, talking about NAFTA as a force for global capital reallocation to large corporations, we'll say that we've really, really, really come to the end. King Yeti, I couldn't appreciate it more, our chat here. And when Ross Perot comes out, God rest his soul, founder of Texas Instruments himself, the man who came as close to winning on a third-party ticket as anybody since Teddy Roosevelt, the man with a vice president candidate who is as crazy as anybody as we've got in politics today, Ross Perot. I love you, baby. It was a simpler time. I miss you, Ross. I miss you. Fuck you for making TI-83s still $100. What the fuck is that shit? Anyways, it's been so cool hanging out with everybody. Anime Catboy, King Yeti, the whole crew. Long stream. Been a blast. See you guys on our next one.